Good evening. Welcome to the Spiritual Mysteries of Life, and I'm Constance Vawter. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you, and I appreciate all of you who have tuned in. And if you would be so kind as to like and share, that's how we get things out into the public and share our ideas and get things going. And tonight we're going to speak about the breath and the silence. And there'll be some other things that I'll discuss that will bring some things into perspective for you. I will discuss the I am as I usually do because the I am is so important. And we have to keep that alive and going. So that's been what they've been telling me. So with that, I send you all my blessings and wishes and all the good things. And we know that God is with us and that everything that we do is predicated on Him. And the work that I do is definitely through Him. When I speak or if I channel, I want you to know that, hi, Deborah, and that I want you to know that everything is as pure as it can be for me. And I hope it will be for you. Now, if I channel, I always channel with my eyes closed. Now, there's other folks who channel with their eyes open. Now, I'll explain to you why I do it with my eyes closed. It's because sometimes I see things like a movie, and then I also hear. So, and I've been able to do this since I was a little girl. And so it's been, I've learned how to operate it and know what's happening. If by chance you're having a little difficulty with it, just know that just have faith in yourself, because what I'm going to be talking and teaching tonight has to do with you and you alone. Has nothing to do with anyone else. So let's get started. Uh, when we talk about the breath, the absolute, and when you talk about the silence, the breath and the silence come together. Those two things. Now, when you stop and think about it, what was the first thing when you were born? You had to breathe, right? The silence, you coming through the womb, never hearing anything. And then what happens? You hear the cry. You hear yourself cry. There's a noise that your ears have never heard before. And all of a sudden, here you are, a newborn baby brought into this life. And all the things that are going to happen, and all the things that you will look forward to. Or if you're a senior like myself, then you look back and you say, oh, all the wonderful things and some of the testy things. Nothing that we have ever learned has been, or lived, I should say. Everything that we have lived has been a lesson. Every person that comes into your life is a lesson. If somebody pricks you and just irritates you at work or any place, you think, well, I'm going to change jobs. I'm going to go someplace else. Guess what? There will be somebody there that's going to do the same thing because you didn't stay long enough to work it out. These are things, when we talk about how you do things and the aspect of the saying things that mean something to you. Sometimes you can think, I wonder, and there'll be a thought there, and then all of a sudden it comes true. A lot of folks call that deja vu. or you've been someplace and you think, oh, I've been here before. In your mind, you'll say, oh, well, my mind's playing tricks on me. Well, it's not. This is part of the processing that goes on in this lifetime. This is the I am. This is that spark of God that lives within you and is in you. I always encourage folks to, when they listen to what I say, if it doesn't resonate with you and you say, I just can't get this, I always say, put it on the shelf and just leave it there for a little while. And then maybe one of these days, something will be said. You'll hear a conversation with a friend and you'll say, oh, yeah, I remember that lady, yeah, what's her name? Connie or Constance, or however you know me, would say, said those things. Well, then you can apply it. And I always tell everyone that your base religion, whatever faith you have, you hang on to that and you build on that. You can grow. That's your foundation. That's what your family gave to you and nurtured you through the years. You were in the third dimension. So that's how they did things. Well, now we're living in the fifth dimension, a high energy. Everything is running on a fast track. Nobody does anything slow. And that's because we're moving into the light energy. The light energy, which God has now saying, it's time. I want this for my people. I want this for my earth, our Mother Earth. So when you take all these concepts and you bring them together, we know, and it's an innate saying. And there's I forgive me, I don't know who says it, but there's a man always refers to us as old souls. And we are old souls because we've been here before. And if you can't relate to that, that's okay. Because sometimes, and it's one of the things you will realize too, is that sometimes that we are brought in this, if we come in again, which you will, you will be brought in with maybe the same family because there's things that have to get worked out with all concerned. So you could end up being with your mother and father again, or a sister could be your mother. Oh, wouldn't that be a trip? Yeah, that's not happening to me. But anyway, just go with the flow. Go with the flow. And when you get things, and like, listen, and a lot of times now, I get things when I iron. Now, believe it or not, I still iron. And when I am pressing, spirit will come right through. And then I'm having a conversation. If somebody's in my house, they'll hear that and they'll think, well, who's she talking to? Well, that just so happens that if whoever comes through is talking to me while I'm ironing. Why? Because my concentration is there. It's just like when you're driving in a car. Now, I had a little incident this week that I'm driving and I don't have the radio on because I want to hear. And if God has something to say to me on my way to work, I want to hear it. So I'm always listening for that. And so anyway, I heard boom, 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 boom. And I thought, that sounds like a crash. Well, then there was a big truck behind me. I looked in my mirror and I thought, okay, he's a big guy. And so then I thought, okay, here we could, and then I could hear all of a sudden sirens. And I thought, where are they coming from? So I slow way down because I don't know where they're at, but I could hear them. And then all of a sudden, the truck starts to pull to the left, and then the fire engine flies on the far left of him over the media and in front of two or three cars ahead of me. And I'm like, oh, so everybody's then merges to the left because on the right side, there's a 4-car pileup. Now, I didn't anticipate that that's what I was going to be seeing, but there it was. But I heard the boom, 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 boom. So you see, when we're driving, it doesn't matter whenever you're in a position. It's just like when you meditate and you're in that quietness, you're in the silence, is when you hear things that are going to be happening around you. That's when you have to pay attention. And sometimes you'll be maybe just on a fluke, you might be just walking. And then all of a sudden you think, I think I better be careful, I might trip. Listen to that, because the next step could maybe trip you. Always be listening. Always have yourself tuned in to make sure that you are in the oneness. And knowing that when you have that, when we talk about the breath, and when you're breathing, when you breathe in and out, you're breathing in positiveness and letting go of anything that's negative. And you're letting that flow away from you. The same with the silence. You listen for the silence. Because why? Then you're going to hear. When I was a little girl, and I knew that I knew I was different from other kids, because my mom, realized it and started talking to me and saying, don't do this, don't do that, And so a lot of that is all in a situation where you just don't know what to do with it all. Now, I'm looking at the screen here, and I'm looking here, and I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. But anyway, the thing that is important for you is that when you're taking and setting forth the examples of for your children and how you want them to do things and react. Sometimes if you get silent, don't say a word. Just get silent. All of a sudden, everybody's looking around like, what's the matter with her? Or what's the matter with him? Mm-hmm. That brings everybody's attention around. When all of a sudden, and then that says, oh, maybe we all should be silent. Then, if you need to speak, you will be heard, and they will be heard. Sometimes when people, well, let me use this as an example. Sometimes you are having a conversation with someone and you're intensely listening, and then they throw in something that's, well, are you okay? Well, sure, I'm okay. I'm just listening intensely to what you have to say. I want to hear everything that you're saying. And because I know that later on in the conversation, they're going to ask me a question. And so I want to make sure I've heard everything that they've said so I can come back with a positive answer. And knowing I have to be quiet so I can hear what Spirit or my God is saying to me. My source, my creator talks to me. And so you can call it a spirit. If you don't like that word spirit, I don't care what you call it. But there is a source that is inside of each and every one of us, where God is in us. He is in us. We are Him. And He talks to us. Now, and I've shared this story with you before, the same thing when it comes to Jesus. I hear Him. I feel Him. And I can remember, and I know I've shared it, so I'll share it again for some of you that may not have heard it before. And that is that when I first married, and that was 35 years ago, I said to the gentleman that I was going to marry, I said, number one, you will never be number one. And he just looked at me. And I said, before we say I do, you have to know the number one in my life is Jesus. Now, if you can live with that, then we can move forward. but you will never be number one. My Lord will be number one, always and foremost. So even after 30 years of a marriage going down the tubes, I still, at the end, I asked God not for me, just to make sure that I did not have a bitter heart, because love in life, unconditional love, and is absolute in everything that we do. And so just because the marriage ended wasn't the end of the world. A new life was to start. And then I moved to Florida, and here I am. And I've been on with Star Nations doing this show for let's see, March is 16. So this March it'll be 3 years. So isn't that awesome? I just think it's amazing, and how I have grown, and how each time we accept and nurture ourselves, it takes time. It doesn't always happen. Every time, think, well, I got to have this and I have to do it right now. It takes time. We are now in the fifth dimension, if you're not aware of that. And you know that your life, I mean, everything is fast, everything's moving fast, everything's going crazy. But guess what? We're going into the light. The light is going to prevail. Our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and on down are going to benefit from all of the light bearers who are out there trying to bring forth the energy that is necessary to wake people up and to have them open their minds to know that that the Christ is within. The kingdom is not outside. The kingdom is within. It is within your very being. When God tells us to be quiet, Jesus told us to be quiet and go within. When you pray, go within. No matter what we need, if we go within ourselves and converse with our God, our Jesus, whatever it takes for you, you will feel the essence and know that everything's going to be fine because he takes care of it. Now, we could lose somebody through death. And that's so sad. But wonderful for the person passing, because they're in the light now, and they're with God, and they're happy. But we're sad because why? We're going to miss them. But you'll see them again. So always keep yourself in the mindset that we are the I am. And that we are so special. He wants us to be happy. He wants us to be full of joy. He wants all these things for us. And we have to learn how to bring it in, how to keep it all together. And it's absolutely amazing when you take. Now, I was thinking, I was channeling the other night, and I could feel. Now, I'm not in my body, but my body was feeling the sensations of the channeling. But I'm at a different place. And so I'm like, oh, I know what's going on in my body, but I'm not always hearing what's going on in the channeling. Because so it's wonderful. And you know that Jesus, when Paul wrote all in the New Testament, that was all channeled. And Jesus channeled it to him. Do you realize that channeling is not new? this has been going on for eons. And so, but now, and really, in the old days, they kind of shut everything down. And back when I was young and became into the realm of learning all about my spirituality and wanting to be spiritualized, I wanted that so badly, and I wanted to be. Uh, ended up, I have 2 children. I have 3 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. So, you say, oh, well, was I going to have all this? I didn't know that back then. But guess what? It all comes where it's supposed to come. Everything that happens to us, everything that comes within our realms is supposed to happen. It's a lesson. How did we handle that lesson? Did we have to, or when you think about something, you'll say, oh, I'm having this. Am I having a repeat movie? Why? Is because you're going through it all over again because you didn't learn it. When you find yourself going to a movie and you're seeing yourself playing that movie over and over again, that means that you need to sit down and get into your silence and find out why. And say, God, why am I having to go through this again? Because I haven't learned? Do I need to change how I think about something? Do I need to give up control? Maybe I have a control issue? Forgiveness? I don't know. But until we reach our own essence and know who we are, those are difficult things to deal with. And it's your faith. That's why I said in the beginning that your faith is your base. And you can build on that and incorporate new thinking and know that everything isn't as locked down as everybody thinks it is. Try to have an imagination. Think of the fun things and let your mind think of fun things and be happy. And when you constantly are thinking happy thoughts, then happy things come. If you're sitting around feeling sorry for yourself, well, I can't do this or I can't do that, well, then nothing comes. Why? Because you shut it down with your thinking. When in reality, it's all about it. You got to take that breath and you got to be in the silence, knowing that you are who you are. Now, I think I'm going to channel. I'm getting the feeling here. So, but before I do that, I found a poem that was written by a friend of mine, and it's called The Silent Place. So I'm going to read it to you. How often the hungry soul cries out to be at one with God, desolate, bereaved, alone. Along life's path we trod. We seek him in the chapel. We query of the sage. We search in vain to find him upon the printed page. Our quest may take as far and wide, through struggle and through din, while we seek to find him far away instead of deep within. When we enter into the silent place and close that sacred door, we will feel his blessed presence as we never had before. A mighty surge of power, great joy and peace divine, abiding sense of oneness, security, sublime. These are the priceless treasures for which the soul has sought, the Father's pearl of great price, which never could be bought. But in his present precious gift to those who enter through this door, and here we will abide in love and peace forevermore. When we have come at last to know that God is not apart, but is the very life of us and dwells within our hearts. And isn't that the truth? God does dwell in our hearts. So, all right, now, if you'll give me a second here, and like I say, I always close my eyes, so we'll give them a chance to get in, and we'll see what's coming. All right. We come with the silence. We come with the breath. We know that thou art with us. We have been where you have been. We have come far and wide. Our God has brought us to this essence through that which is to be, to know that he is in and everyone. It is through this that we reach within and tell ourselves that we have been chosen. We are God's gift. He loves us. He loves the essence of all of the world and all that he gives. It is through that he opens and realizes that every soul is being touched. As we touch each and every soul, every message that is given, be that what it may, that you find your essence, you find your place, and you find your inner strength within that which is to be. Now, as you come into the oneness, reach within yourself and know that you are God. You are the essence of his being. You have the ability. You have everything that you need is within. All you have to do is to go within and seek and search. We are here on the angelic realm to assist and guide and direct. We are here to assist if you request us. When a person needs are heard, it's like a rocket going off and being shot into the heavens. And we hear our absolute and we respond. We are given the authority to come to each individual as needed. We, as he instills in us his breath, his silence, his inner knowing, everything that we have comes through him, each and every one of you. We are here for your essence, for your being, and know that you are a child of God and the essence of that which is to be. We are here to give and to administrate. We are here to guide and protect. God is in the essence of everything that you do. He loves you. He wants everything for you as you are in your, when you are in the dilemmas, when you are fighting essence of negative vibrations, make sure to turn yourself inward and go within. Leave the negative. You have you and you. When you think of that, think of, you have a physical self and a spiritual self, and we're going to bring them together. We're going to soften it so that when you are with your God self, your creator, your Jesus, whatever it is that you relate to, in that holy of holies, bring that is in your physical realm into and give it credence and bless it. And no matter how negative it is or how disappointing it is, bring it and bring those energies and the knowing that God loves whatever it is. He does not discriminate. He does not. If you're having a problem with somebody, God doesn't see that problem. He just loves that person just as much as he does you. He loves us all equally, and that which is. So when you're thinking, I can't deal with this over here, I have to move, I have to do this, I have to. No, you don't. You need to go within yourself and talk to God about it. You need to get in there. And if you need Jesus, you just call him and he'll be there. He's there. He loves you so much. Why do you think when he was here 2,000 years ago that he didn't? He was here to give you that which was that is necessary for you to know the word love, conditional, and it is united in all aspects. So with that, we give you the peace of understanding and the love that God has for you. Place in your heart and know that you are beloved, the ones, the special one that God so loves. And blessings be. Okay, I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. Okay, so that wasn't a real long channel, but hopefully it fed you something. And I think that it's amazing when we can take things that we know and say, I learned from that. And then you say, oh, okay. So you don't have to repeat that lesson because you learned it and you know it. That's pretty exciting. And so when you're doing things in your everyday life, think of things that will make life easier for you. Or think about the things that make you happy. Like, I love to go to the beach and I love to see the sunset. I love to go to the beach and see the sun dance on that water and just sparkles. I just love it. So it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? If you are a person that loves the forest and the trees and that really resonates with you, then try to find time to find a place that you can go to. If it's a garden, if you like to be with flowers, if there's, there's so many things out there that you can relate to that will give all the information that you're, for you to make you happy. Now, uh, I have some flowers behind me, and I don't know if you can see them. I put them up. I wanted you to be able to see them because they were a gift, and for my birthday, which was a while back. But the person that my best friend when she presented them to me, she just got back in town, so so we had to connect, and so we had lunch and flowers and a very nice day. It was wonderful. And so these are things that we look at and say, how precious that moment, that time that we spent together. We had a wonderful lunch and wonderful conversation, and then we went shopping, and then we had some ice cream, of course, and at her favorite place, and it was just wonderful. And these are the things that you take and you cherish because they are so special. And then I have a friend in Tennessee who I hadn't heard from in a while. And I was getting a little concerned, and I thought, gee, I haven't heard from her. Whoops, the phone rings, and there she is. Isn't that wonderful? Just that when you thought comes through your mind, and and you say, oh, and isn't that wonderful that we have that ability to do that? Your brain is like a filing cabinet. And so everything that you're doing goes in the file. And so if you're not doing it, if you're not getting the lesson right, yeah, guess what? They pull that file out and they say, yeah, we got to do this one again. And then when so hopefully we won't have too many repeats. But as you go through and you see and you look within yourself, these are the things that are absolutely wonderful. And in the essence, when we can take and know that our inside of us, everything that we need is within. I use this phrase every now and then with folks. They're having health issues. I tell them, you're the boss. You are the boss. You tell your cells they're going to be healthy. You're going to tell your blood it's going to be healthy. And you keep telling yourself these things over and over again. Why? Because for many years, all you ever heard was, well, gee whiz, I think we need to give you a pill for this, or we need to give you a pill for that. And, and then you're not feeling good at all. And then you say, well, what have I got to look forward to? So just take that, and just like when you have a job, you're the boss. You remember that. And how you conduct yourself and what you do, you're the boss. You have a boss over you, certainly. Or maybe you're the boss. And I can remember when I was the boss and in the business, because a lot of you know I came from the corporate world. And so, and I think about that and I think, okay, and when you take the lessons that you have learned and the necessary things that you need to take into consideration when you're doing your work, whether it's in the home, doesn't matter where it's at, you're still the boss. And how you conduct yourself and how you handle things. When you're driving down the road, you're the boss of that car. Somebody cuts you off, ticks you off. I don't like that. So what do? You get mad and then you speed up or you do whatever? No. What do? We send love and light because that person must be having a bad day. And that's what I always think. Anyway, if somebody cuts me off, I'm like, well, they got a bigger problem than I've got. So I just say, well, blessings be and love and light to you, buddy. So those are just things that, you can handle it any way you want. But life is what you make it. And so tonight, when Spirit said to me, we're going to talk about the breath and the silence, I thought, how am I going to incorporate all that? But it all works out. It all does. So if anybody has any questions, I think it's about 8:40, so we've got about 20 minutes that we can have a little chat if you choose to. If not, I'll just keep talking. But I like to give you an opportunity to ask me any questions, or if you want a message, or if whatever is necessary in your life. If there's something that you need to focus in on, or we need to talk about. Anybody want to do that? I see one is that Dakota has, oh my days, my dad passed last week. Oh, well, blessings be. And you know what? Your dad is absolutely happy where he's at, let me tell you, because he's in the presence. He's not worrying about anything. He doesn't have to anymore. And what he's looking at is he's probably saying, "Oh, is that what I did? All right, um, okay." And then he'll be looking for his next assignment because God is saying, "Hey, buddy, how are you? You know, he's going to welcome him in, and then give him the opportunity to say, you want to stay here for a while, or you want to get back in the game and go back into Mother Earth and learn some things." Oh, we got something up. I'm sorry. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm talking to you. Okay, and so the aspect of that is that when you are going through your grief and missing and knowing that dad has passed, then it gets better. I know that when my daddy passed, I because I was his girl, and that was pretty hard on me. But I knew that he would be with me. And let me just say this: I don't know you, Nicole. How do you pronounce the name? Nicoda? Nicoda? Um, but it's a it's the process that you'll be going through. And it took, my father's been gone since 1981. In 1984, I knew he was with me, but I actually saw him in 2018 in my home. And I couldn't believe it. He stood right there. And so you see, they wait for us and they want to be with us. And so I'm sure that your father will connect with you in some manner because daddies always do. And I'll leave that with you. Okay? And just know that you're going to be just fine. Is there any other questions out there?
Hi, Connie. I don't see any more questions
Hi.
in the chat. Although, I did put a note in letting people know that they have any questions for you, they can put them in the comment section. So we'll just give them just a little time. If you want to share something else,
Okay.
we wait. That would be great.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Yeah. One of the things, too, that I guess I really want to share with you is that when we are uh, incorporating different things into our life, I've been doing this work probably off and on since 1968. And till 1984, 85, 84, I was involved in a church and did readings and ministerial work and things. And I am a minister now, ordained. And that happened in this past year. So just wonderful things are happening. Uh, these are absolute times when things are starting to come together for people. Your awareness, your sensitivity is up. Uh, things that you never would think about before, you're now thinking. And you're some people you can share these thoughts with. But we're still back. 50 years ago, I couldn't tell anybody I was doing this. I was in the corporate world. Are you kidding me? I was running a multi-million-dollar corporation. They'd say, what is this woman, a nut? You know? And so you don't tell everybody that you have the gift when you had back in that day. Where now today, people can pretty much say who they are, what they do, and people say, oh, well, okay, that's cool. But back in that day, you didn't tell people because they always thought you were a little bit different. And so, but I'm a third generation spirit person. My mother was clairvoyant, and my grandmother. All right, Angie Arsenal. Okay. All right. Let me see what I can come up. See what they have to say. Angie, I'm seeing um, a newborn, which does not always represent a newborn baby. It means that there's a birthing going on, a change of what you're going to be making a change in your life. Now, it could be maybe you are having a child, but most of the time when I see the new birth of a child, it means that there's a change coming within you, and you're going to be making it's either a job change or a location change. Something new is coming. Also on that plate is a substance, to me, meaning spiritual substance, meaning that you are opening yourself up and some new information is coming into you. You're placing things the way they need to be. It's like I have a plate of food. I have the meat, the potatoes, and the vegetables. And it's like I'm taking each item and I'm analyzing each and everything. And I'm thinking about, do I need protein? Do I need to, if I do I eat plant protein? How much, meat products do I eat? Should I be should I be going over to a plant-based vegetarian type food? So with that, so when you're placing all these things together, it says it to me that you are starting a spiritual journey, and I want to say to you that walk with it as carefully and as smoothly as you can. And remember the words that I said earlier today, that you need to um, go within the silence and in your breath and know that everything that you're getting ready to do is going to be fed to you spiritually. It will be like pablum to a baby. So just know that you want it now. You like, I want it right now. Well, you have to give yourself time to get adjusted. It isn't going to take months and years and all this stuff. What you need to know is that it takes an organized mind to get it there. And so with that, I'm saying to you to place yourself in that oneness, go within your creative source. I don't whether it's Jesus, it doesn't matter to me what your foundation is, whatever works, but know that when you go into your God self, and you have levels. You have a Christ self and you have your God self. So if you're trying to reach up into those areas, be very patient, because when you're working on trying to change your eating and you're in trying to spiritualize yourself, God does the spiritualizing. When he sees that you're doing the work and have the dedication, then that's when the spiritualization for you will take place. And God bless. Joshua. Oh, hello. All right. Yes, we do. We'll have a message for you. Um, it is a pleasure to be in your vibration again. Thank you. Um, I'm going to say to you that there's been some things that have transpired, and I know that we jumped a big hurdle a little while back, but there's some things that are coming up in front of you, and I'm just saying to you to get within, go inside again, go within yourself. Everything is going to, I hear the word benign, so I'm going to throw that word out. I don't know what it's retaining or how it works, but everything is going to be fine. There's a process going on here. There's a tremendous amount of love and light going on, working, and prayer chains going. And so with all of that, we are sending, oh my, they're going to, the angelic realm is moving in and going to be sending you and your, I'm going to say family, whoever is around you and are close to you. There's going to be a real, a spiritual intertwining, intermixing of spirituality, of love and light. And there's going to be a tremendous healing going on in the family. And God bless. Leandra. All right. Okay, I gotta see your little face. All right. All right. Okay. I am placing things in order. It's like I'm making a list. You must be a list person, because I feel like I have things like 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the way I do things. And I'm going to take, and once I get 1 done, then I'll take care of 2, 3, 4, 5, and on down the line. But now, as I'm reaching in, I'm also feeling that there's going to be something coming that's going to kind of up, your list is going to get jumbled up, and you're not going to be able to do things in a 1, 2, 3, 4 order. You're going to have to be a little bit more flexible, and you're going to have to jump down and pick something and say, this is out of character for me, but I'll do it. But I don't like it, but I'm going to do it. So these are the kind of things that are reaching in and knowing that you're going to be making some decisions that will require you to go within yourself, and so that you are in control. Remember what I said earlier today, we talk about the boss. You're the boss now. So you can jump from 1 to 5, and it's okay. Everything doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You, as the boss, can say, gee, okay, I did number 1. Now I need to jump down here to number 2, and it's going to be fine. I'll be all right with it. That's what I see happening here. And then you may have to go back to 3, and then you're going to take care of that. And it's okay for you to think like that. It's okay. I don't know why. I don't know if there's something that somebody says, well, you have to do it this way, and it has to be done boom, 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 like that. And you're going to be in a position where you're going to say, normally, I would do it that way. But situation has changed. So I am being impressed, and I feel spiritually you're being impressed that you need to do it the way they tell you to do it. And I would suggest or encourage you to follow your intuition on that matter. And God bless. Okay, well, let's find out, Linda. Yes, he did, Linda. He did call your name, and he does have a message for you. And that is, hang on. He wants you to know how proud he is of you. Also wants you to know that he did not always do things correctly, and that he would love it if you could uh, be a little easy on him, uh, send him a little love and light, and know that he is with you, and he says that he will watch over you. And all you have to do is call and just say, Dad, can you be with me? Can you sit with me? And can you help me? And he'll be there. Now, what is happening here is if there's disharmony somewhere, he feels saddened about that, but he wants you to know that you do not have to be sad, that you can find the joy that you need in your life, and that if he can help you in any way. But he said, when you reach for your source, for your God, for your Jesus, for your creator, whatever source, to reach within and grab a hold of it. And that will help you through with what you're going through. And blessings be. Okay. Lisa, I feel that the presence of nature with you, and I'm almost positive that there's some things that are going on around you that if you could take, and I don't know where you live or anything, but if there's, and this is October now, so there's still time that you could go out and walk in the grass with your bare feet, or in the dirt, and just put your toes and rub your feet in it. Or if you happen to be by water, where you can immerse your feet in the sand and then into the water, it would be wonderful for you. It seems that there's a grounding. You need to ground yourself a little bit. I don't know if you're kind of flying high these days and a lot of energy, a lot of fastness, a lot of everything going kind of nuts. And I think it's even in your spirituality, I think, anyways, what they're showing me here is that you need to be able to get your feet grounded into Mother Earth. And we all need to be grounded. We need balance. And that was something I didn't discuss this evening, but one of these nights I will be talking about balance. But it's important that you, when you're doing your spiritual work or your everyday work, everything needs to be in balance with that which is going on within you. And for some reason, I just feel like if you could do something where you could get your feet in the ground, then you'll feel so much better, and things will start to move smoother for you. And blessings be. Tanya, hi Tanya, good to see you. All right.
Connie, this is
Yeah,
Neshi. Her name is Toya.
Toya. Okay,
Toya.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, thank you, Toya. All righty, thank you very much. Okay. Okay. Um, I feel like I'm upside down, like somebody just, or my tummy went upside down. Things aren't just where I would like them to be. And so I'm trying to figure out where I need to go, how do I get where I need to be. And so with this, I'm sensing that a tremendous amount of energy, and it's all in a circle. And so what I'm thinking here is that we're in a whirlwind. And when I say, my tummy feels like it was just not 100% there, um, it's uh, everything seems to be tip toppy turvy here. And so with that, I'm sensing that with yourself now, Toya, take yourself out of the equation. Do not allow somebody else to come in and disrupt your being, your soul, your spirituality that you are in is for you and you alone. Nobody else has the right to judge or criticize anything that you do, because God is all loving, all knowing, and there's nothing that he doesn't love. He loves everything, good and bad. You think it's bad, God doesn't know the word bad. He just knows love. So think about whatever is happening here and know that you can place this uh, situation in your God self and know that God is going to take care of it. And if your source is Jesus, then give it to Jesus. I don't know if yes, I do. I know that you're a very devout, faithful person, and that you keep everything to yourself. So now, knowing that, let's take one more step for you, honey, and say everything. You are the boss, so you can take and make sure that all is in order. And God bless. Is that Violet? What a pretty name. Okay. Violet, um, I'm coming in with something new. So I'm assuming that you're working in something new. So I'm thinking that because it's so new to me, I'm thinking it's the spiritual aspect of your life that you are reaching for and you're wanting to know more and are seeking more information by going to classes and doing the things that are necessary for you. And as you progress, these things will start to manifest for you. But don't be in a hurry. Just know that it takes time. So many times we get in a hurry and we miss a step. And then we have to go back and backtrack. So as you're studying, make sure that you have the right teachers and the right people around you teaching you in the manner that is correct for everything that you do. If it's meditation, make sure that you know the credentials of the person and that they know how to train in meditation. If you're looking for other aspects and different things, just know that they are for you. And also know that I want you to slow down a little bit, or that spirit is saying they would like you to slow down just a little bit so that when you hear, see, apparently you're not hearing. So you have to get into the silence and just hear, and then you will be directed to know. So that when you go to pick a teacher or someone that's going to be working with you, go into meditation and get into that silence and hear what is to be said, and then you move forward. And God bless.
Connie, that was the last question.
Okay.
So if you'd like to leave your audience with parting words.
Oh yes, I always like to say something. Yeah. Um, don't forget we have the Star Nations magazine coming out on the 10th, and it's going to be good. It always is. And we have other events that are coming up, and I think it's this next weekend. No, is it the weekend after? I'm sorry, I don't know the dates, but Polly Joe is going to be in Wisconsin at the Star Nations Academy and doing some wonderful works up there and lots of lessons. And but you can reach me if you choose to. I have an email, and that is cvawter@pathwaynet.com. And I have a phone number if you need to reach me at 727-418-6345. And I want to thank you all for tuning in and giving me the opportunity to touch your lives. And I'd like to leave, and I always try to close with this little verse now because I just think it's so wonderful, and it's what it is. It's living for the joy of living, and love for the joy of loving, and give for the joy of giving, and serve for the joy of serving. And blessings be until the next time.